Ukraine deploys new layered system against Shahed drones. That is the headline grabbing everyone's attention today, December 30th, 2025.
And it really is a pivotal moment. It's the point where, the entire strategic balance of the air war starts to shift.
It's about that cost efficiency equation, isn't it?
Exactly. It begins to tilt pretty dramatically in favor of the defender.
Absolutely. And if you want to understand how Kyiv pulled this off and why this matters for all of Europe, then you are in the right place. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex.
And I'm Aria.
And in this deep dive by Defense Report, we're giving you a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense. And today, we are covering that definitive countermeasure.
This is more than just a new gadget. We're going to unpack a whole new multi-layered defense architecture. It's a system so critical that NATO allies are already looking to copy it.
And we're going to reveal the details of a brand new, locally developed counter-drone. It's codenamed Octopus.
We're looking at how Ukraine is fundamentally changing the rules of the game here. It's all about two things:
cost efficiency and industrial scale.
Overwhelming industrial scale. It's a blueprint for any country that might face these high-volume, saturation-style attacks.
But before we get to the solution, we have to grasp the problem. The sheer, terrifying scale of what Ukraine was up against. So what did that drone barrage actually look like as we close out 2025?
I think the only word for it is relentless. The volume is just staggering, and it's been accelerating.
Accelerating how?
Okay, so get this. Between January and November of this year, 2025, Russia launched over 38,000 long-range kamikaze UAVs and decoys.
38,000.
And to put that into perspective for you, that single 11-month period accounts for 64% of the total number launched since the full-scale invasion began.
Wow. So 64% of all drones ever used in this war were launched in just the last year. The tempo is just skyrocketing.
It is. In the summer and fall, we saw monthly averages of around 5,375 drones per month. They peaked in July, averaging over 203 drones per day.
Per day.
Russia's goal here is pure exhaustion. Intel showed they plan to produce 40,000 Geran-2 drones this year alone. They have the industrial capacity for volume, and they are absolutely using it.
And this is where that strategic problem comes in, what the military calls the exchange rate deficit.
Right.
You simply cannot keep firing, say, a Patriot missile that costs millions of dollars to shoot down a Shahed that costs maybe, $50,000 or $60,000.
You can't. That exchange rate is a guaranteed path to strategic defeat. It doesn't matter how many missiles the West sends you, you will eventually run out.
And the threat wasn't just staying the same, it was getting smarter.
Exactly. The drones themselves were evolving. We're not talking about the crude flying lawnmowers from 2022 anymore.
So what are the key upgrades we've seen this year?
I would say there are three major shifts. First is lethality. They introduced a new variant with a 90-kilogram warhead.
Up from 50.
Up from 50? Yeah. The explosive payload itself went from 28 kilos to 62. The trade-off is the range is halved to about 650 kilometers, but the punch against a building or a power station is significantly harder.
So a bigger bang for shorter trips. What about its brain, its ability to resist our countermeasures?
That's the second, and I think arguably the most alarming shift. The Shahed 136 MS variant. It showed up in June.
And what makes this one so different?
It has a brain. It's equipped with thermal imaging, a visible spectrum camera, and critically, an NVIDIA Jetson AI processor.
Okay, so what does an AI processor actually do on a Shahed?
It gives it autonomous visual targeting. So let's say you jam its GPS. Normally, it would just kind of guess its way to the target using its internal compass, its INS.
Right.
Now, the AI uses the camera, compares what it sees in real time to pictures of the target stored in its memory, and navigates visually. It can find and confirm its target even in a completely GPS-denied environment.
Which makes conventional jamming far, far less effective. And they also upgraded their EW resistance, didn't they?
They did. That's the third point. They integrated a 4-antenna CRPA system.
CRPA.
Controlled reception pattern antenna. Basically, instead of one ear listening for the satellite, it has 4. If you deafen one with a jammer, the others can still pick up the signal. It makes it much harder to blind.
So you combine all that with wolfpack tactics, decoys, cruise missiles firing at the same time. It's a complex problem.
It is a very complex problem that demanded a systemic, layered response, not just a single magic bullet.
Which brings us to that strategic response.
Yeah.
It started right from the top with Commander-in-Chief General Syrskyi. He announced this layered system, stressing that air defense was the absolute top priority.
And this wasn't just talk, it was a new doctrine, really. Military experts have formalized it into 4 essential layers, and the whole point is to make sure you're using the right tool for the right threat.
Okay, so break down these 4 layers for us.
So at the very top, the crown jewels, you have the long-range layer, your Patriot, your Fanny PT systems. These are reserved only for the most dangerous high-speed threats.
Ballistic missiles, the Kinzels, Iskanders.
Exactly. Using one of these on a drone is basically mission failure from a cost perspective.
And below that.
The medium-range layer, that's your NASAMS, your IRIS-T. They protect large areas from things like cruise missiles and enemy aircraft. Still very expensive, very valuable assets you want to preserve.
Then you get to the close-in fight.
The short-range layer, or Shahed. This is your last kinetic line of defense. Think German Gepard, anti-aircraft guns, shoulder-fired manpads, and all those mobile machine gun groups on pickup trucks.
The technicals we see driving around Kyiv.
Exactly. They're vital for low-altitude targets, but they're still limited.
And that brings us to the 4th and the newest layer, the counter-drone layer. But why create a whole new branch for this? Why not just bolt these new interceptors onto the Shahed unit?
That is a fantastic question, and the answer is about agility and focus. The threat from a high-altitude jet is completely different from a slow, low-flying drone.
Different problems need different organizations.
Precisely. By creating the Unmanned Systems Forces, a formal branch of the military they established in June 2024, they created a team that could develop doctrine and technology at lightning speed, specifically for the drone-on-drone fight. It takes the burden off the traditional expensive systems.
So that structural change really paved the way for the domestic innovation we're seeing. Let's talk about the star of that innovation, the Octopus interceptor.
The Octopus is, it's the hero of this story, really. It's a dedicated interceptor drone, developed by Ukrainian engineers with some key support from British specialists.
And its main selling point is cost.
Its main selling point is that it is cheap, simple, and built for one job, killing Shaheds. The whole idea is to fix that broken cost exchange ratio.
So what makes it so effective against these new, smarter Shaheds?
It's designed to hunt them in their own environment. It flies low, often below traditional radar, so it can catch the Shaheds on their attack runs. The Moji says it's proven in combat, works at night, and importantly, works even when there's heavy electronic jamming.
It's a brute force solution.
It's a simple, local, brute force solution. And this is where the industrial story gets just phenomenal.
This isn't a boutique weapon. This is mass production.
This is the real lesson for NATO.
Yeah.
Industrial speed is everything. Serial production for Octopus started in November. To get volume, they used a distributed manufacturing model. The blueprints went to 3 factories immediately.
And more are coming online.
11 more are prepping their production lines, including this agile local company called General Cherry. They're scaling up incredibly fast.
Preventing a single point of failure in their industrial base. So what's the output? What are the numbers?
The numbers are, frankly, astounding. As of December 18th, the Defense Ministry is delivering nearly 950 interceptor drones per day.
Per day.
Almost 1,000 new counter drones rolling off the lines every single day. That is how you fight an industrial attrition war. You match their volume with your own cheap domestic solution.
And the effectiveness rates are high.
It's very high. Reports are showing over 70% effectiveness in real combat. And that success means your Patriot and IRIS-T missiles are saved for the threats they were actually built for. It's so successful, in fact, that the UK has already signed a licensing agreement to manufacture the Octopus there.
A huge vote of confidence. But layered defense isn't just about the interceptors, it's about the invisible digital network connecting them. How do you even track these things when they fly so low?
You listen for them.
You listen.
With acoustics. They call it the acoustic network, or Sky Fortress. You all know the Shahed has that loud, distinctive engine noise, right? The lawnmower in the sky.
Right.
Ukraine turned that weakness into a weapon. They've deployed a dense network of thousands of cheap acoustic sensors across the country, maybe 14,000 of them.
The sound detection shield.
Exactly. The system hears the drone, triangulates its position, and instantly creates a real-time flight path.
Yeah.
And the best part, entire network costs less than a single pair of Patriot missiles.
That's incredible. So once you hear it, the data has to go somewhere fast.
Yeah.
That's where Delta comes in.
Delta is the central nervous system. It pulls in everything, the acoustic data, radar, soldier reports, and fuses it into one clear picture. It has over 200,000 users and processes up to 10,000 drone combat streams a day.
And what does that speed get you?
It gets you from detection to engagement in minutes instead of hours or days. That speed lets a commander assign the cheapest, best tool, whether it's a mobile machine gun team or an octopus, to that specific threat instantly.
And there's an AI component helping with that.
Yes, the AI module helps identify unique threats with about 70% accuracy in just over 2 seconds. It's so sophisticated that Delta was the primary command system at NATO's REPM-US 2025 exercises. It's fully NATO interoperable.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the EW side, the Pokrova system. We said jamming is less effective now, so how do you stop a drone that can navigate on its own?
You stop jamming and you start spoofing.
Explain the difference.
Jamming is like shouting so the drone can't hear the satellite signal. But if it has that internal compass, the INS, it just shrugs and keeps flying. Spoofing is different. It's like secretly replacing the map in the drone's cockpit with a map of the wrong city. Pokrova doesn't block the signal. It feeds the drone false satellite coordinates.
So you're not blinding it, you're lying to it.
You're lying to it. You mislead its navigation system, and it flies off course and crashes harmlessly somewhere else. It's been a huge leap forward in their EW game.
So we have the threat, the layers, the hardware, and the digital network. What does all this mean for the rest of Europe? Ukraine has basically become this giant real-world laboratory.
It has. What Ukraine is perfecting right now, the layered defense, the mobile groups, the cheap interceptors, the Delta integration, this will form the backbone of future European defense systems.
Especially for the frontline states.
Yeah, especially for the frontline states. The Baltics, Poland, Romania, they're all watching and learning how to fight a war that's about volume and attrition, not just a few high-tech systems.
And we're seeing the U.S. react to this model incredibly fast.
Incredibly fast. Just this month, the U.S. military deployed the LU-YAWER-S drone to the Middle East. It's a $35,000 clone of the Shahed 136, purely for testing.
They're reverse engineering the threat to build better defenses.
Exactly. And the U.S. Air Force just put out a request for 16 exact replicas of the Shahed 136 to test their own next-gen counter-drone programs. What's happening in Ukraine is directly shaping global military requirements right now.
But this is a constant cycle, isn't it? The Russians aren't standing still.
No, they're not. They're already adapting. They're flying even lower to try and get under the acoustic network. And they're experimenting with faster jet-powered drones, like the Shahed 238.
Which would be much harder for a propeller drone like Octopus to catch.
Much harder. So it just reinforces the point. Ukraine is innovating at a breathtaking pace, but the core challenge is still the sheer, unending volume of these attacks. They still need that sustained Western support for the high-end systems to handle the threats that get through.
So to wrap this up, what is the single biggest takeaway here?
We've seen Ukraine build this incredible national defense industrial response. They're making almost 1,000 interceptors a day, mobilizing companies like General Cherry at wartime speed. The bigger question for us, and for our European partners, is whether our own Western defense bureaucracies could ever match that industrial speed and agility if we were the ones facing a threat based on sheer volume and constant low-cost adaptation.
That is the fundamental lesson Ukraine is teaching the world today.
It is.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Oleksandr, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.